So in this video, I'm going to be walking through the taxonomy and how you can make that as simple and as easy as possible by using the service, category, subcategory method, as well as how to edit the descriptions and the names and stuff like that on each of those objects. So here I've got the services. These are the services for this particular system. So we've got incidents, questions, and requests. Now this is a lot simpler than a lot of people will have. So in here we can see basic information about this. So this is the default service for instance raised by the portal. So we can just change this to whatever we want. And that's how you edit the descriptions there. The service name can be changed quite easily by just changing the service name. But each section does often trickle down. So if you change the service name, you may then want to go into the categories that are using that service and change those as well. So if I just go into table management by going tools, table management, and then I go to incident category, that'll show me my my three categories that I've got. I've got one category for the service for incident, one category for the service for question, one category for the service for request. And categories are quite simple. They act as an intermediary between the service and the subcategory. So they sort of branch out a little bit in that regard. So we've got a description here, which you can edit. Specifics, you can choose to add a specific to your category. And then ideally, if your system has been set up to do it, then it'll display the categories specific if there isn't one available for the subcategory. And the same goes for the service as well. So you can change that by just adding a new one in, just selecting one from the drop down. If you want to, you can just press delete and get rid of it. Visible in portal is important to have ticked if you want that category and its corresponding subcategories to be visible in the portal. It has to be visible in portal the whole way up the chain. So the service needs to be visible and the category needs to be visible for the subcategory to be visible typically. There are ways around that, but it depends on the action catalog that you've created in your portal. So it's quite simple. You can choose an image if you want. So I've got a few images here. I might just choose the streamline one. Once you've done that, you can look at the subcategories section. So this is where we have our subcategory for each of our categories. So again, I've got a service for incidents, I've got a category for incidents, and I've got a subcategory which is to log a fault. Service for question, category for question, and subcategory for ask a quick question. Obviously, you want to have more than this. It's just that we have very few taxonomy items at this stage. So if you want to, you can create another one quite simply by choosing new up here. And let's say I want to assign this to an incident. And it's a specific type of incident, so I'm going to choose the incident type incident. So you might not have quick question, you might just have incident and service request, but you can usually choose these from a radio checkbox or from a radio button, sorry, which will decide whether or not your form, your incident is of a certain type when it's created and the taxonomy is filled in. So I've chosen the streamline portal incident. I'm also going to choose the category for portal incident here, which is the only category under this particular service that is correct. And this is going to be a specialized incident. So I'm going to say specialized major incident, and that's going to be my subcategory. My description I can fill in. So you can put in something like that, just a basic subcategory description. The next thing that you can put in is the specifics that you want to use for that incident or that service request. Typically, an incident doesn't have a specific outside of the raise an incident or log a fault incident form, but you can put a specific in. So I would just choose, let's say, specific generic. So once I've filled all that information in, I can tick whether or not it's visible to the customer as well. So that'll have to be enabled in this category and this service as well for this subcategory to be visible. So that way you can turn off an entire service worth of entries at once by turning that off in the service, and the same goes for the category. Turn off an entire category in the portal by unticking that box there as well. Subcategories, again, more granular, you can choose to just limit this particular one. So that's really all there is to the taxonomy and to editing that. It's important to remember that when you edit taxonomy items, you do want to bring them in from your test to your production environments, for example. So you will need to have some sort of methodology around how you do that. A lot of times, the easiest methodology is just to create it in the test environment and then create it again in the production environment. The other thing that you can do if you want to is to go to the Cherwell admin client, create a new blueprint, choose the lookup tables option, and then scroll down to incident subcategory, choose edit data. And now I've got all my subcategories here. If I want to add a particular one that I've just created, then I can just right click and choose include, which will add it to my blueprint. It'll say update here, and in your blueprint changes, it'll say update there as well. One row will be updated, but when you move to a new environment, that row will actually be added if it doesn't exist and updated if it does. So it's a good way of keeping your taxonomies consistent between specific movements to different environments. The same goes for the subcategory here. Again, incident category, edit data. I've got my 3 incident subcategories here that I can choose to include if I want to. You will notice as well that this actually did immediately get updated, so I can immediately see that my new specialized major incident has been added. So that's good because it tells you, as soon as it gets added into the desktop client, it appears for you in the admin client. I hope this helps. Cheers.